Hey guys, and welcome to Dark Souls 3. Now, I know I said in my Witcher playthrough that I wasn't gonna do it, but think of this as kind of like a pilot episode. If you guys give me good comments and feedback and likes and whatnot on this episode, I will highly consider continuing it. Otherwise, think of this as kind of like a one-off idea for what we'll do, and we'll be starting from the beginning. I won't be continuing with my current game. I have played quite a bit already, so I do know quite a bit, including past the infamous First Lords of Cinder. Without giving away too much, people who know Dark Souls 3 up until this point will know what I'm talking about. Others, it'll just be a surprise. So, let's go to new game.
Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, saint of the deep, Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital, Yon the Giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
Alright. So, yes. Who is our character going to be? Well, first of all, we're going to call them. I am using controller, but obviously I'm playing on the PC. I make Brienne of Tarth. Because I can. Yes, change please. Age, sure, class. This is the bit that'll surprise everyone. I like to do deprived, because I like to customize my character, and really that's what deprived is. Deprived starts with very, very little, as you can see. Plank wooden sword, plank wooden shield, and a club. but 10 in all stats and level 1. You'll notice when you're on other classes, level 9, level 8, level 7, level 5, 10, etc. Every time you level up a stat in a Souls game, it adds a level. Now, overall, I think it's fairly balanced between these classes, but Deprived gets a slight edge by like 2 soul levels or something like that. And because of that, I like to go with Sovereign Soul, because it means I get some quick levels in the beginning to put stats into. So, we want to make Brienne of Tarth, right? So let's make Brienne of Tarth. Let's start with, is it face detail? Yes, here. We want short here. Yeah, that's Brienne of Tarthy. That's too emo. I think that might actually be more Brienne of Tarth, because she kind of has like a mop on top of her head. It's not really manicured like that. And it is as blonde as it will go, which isn't very blonde. There's always this like under texture of black on these characters. It's odd. We can, of course, customize it. And I guess that's better. Let's go with that. A-okay. And I mean, it kind of looks Brienne of Tarthish already. We just need the body to be muscular. Doesn't really have body here. Build detail. Physique. There's a way you can set build. Is this it? Yeah. Burly, probably. Or burly upper body. Yeah, burly. There we go. Brienne. Won't be as tall as proper Brienne, but there you go. Looks fairly Brienne-y in the face, probably just... We'll make one change here, so we're not spending too much time on this. Physique, no. Build detail, no. Face detail, face shape, jaw, lower jaw, wide, and chin. Wide. There we go. Sufficiently androgynous, as the book details, and not too feminine. And finalize. Let's do this. Brienne of Tarth, conquering the world of Dark Souls. Because we're doing Brienne of Tarth, you've probably already guessed. Oh, cutscene. Okay, cool. You probably already guessed that we're going to go with a knight-like character, so heavy armor and sword and board, probably. These are all just tutorial messages. Hello, friend. Oh, that was bad. For some reason, I just totally whiffed on raising my shield. Here you go. Move plus dash. Yes, we're going to come back here for item. Solid Depraved Corpse. So as far as I understand, because it's always steeped in mystery and it's purposefully obscured, As far as I understand the story up to this point, like, I know more about the story, but up to the point where we are Brienne of Tarth running around, there are the Lords of Cinder, who rule over the land, and those Lords of Cinder have left their duty. They've abandoned their thrones, and through some sort of mystical force or whatever, if that is to ever happen, a bell tolls, signaling the dead to rise, to come and get the lords and put them back in their thrones. Once we get to Firelink Shrine, you'll see why the lords, hopefully, want to abandon their thrones. Because I think the characters... oh my god, I'm being awful. Because I think pretty early on, the characters kind of explain why you may not like to be a Lord of Cinder in the first place, and why you might want to abandon that position. Turn back. We're not going to turn back. We're going to hopefully get our asses kicked, and by get our asses kicked I mean don't, and whoops, I'm going to turn around. Because that wasn't meant to happen. First of all, I need to take this stuff off so that I'm not accidentally using anything that I don't want to. So yeah, these are messages on the ground. You'll see these messages and they're normally placed by players, but in this specific area they're tutorial messages telling you how to control the game. Since I, for the most part, know how to control the game, I'm just ignoring them. So up here is our first bonfire. This is where you appear if you fail. We're going to sit at it, which refills our Estus Flask. And Estus Flask, for those that don't know, is how you heal in this game. The game is brutal, but you do get chances to make up for your failings by using Estus to recover your health. Hello, friend. So the reason I was walking there is because if I ran up behind him, he would immediately know I was there long before I actually got to him. Now, this guy, I'm not falling for your shenanigans again. And in fact, I'm going to do that, because there is no reason to use the plank shield. It is absolutely awful. At least in my opinion. Right. So now we're going to go and have fun with Crystals. Crystals the lizard. Hello, Crystals. Please lock on, game. I have a lot of problems with the lock-on system in this game. Like, it seems in certain situations that I should be able to lock on, but I just don't. I'm gonna shush, because this is dividing my attention to talk. You also lose lock-on very easily, even if the enemy is still on screen. This club may not do it. There's another character class. You start off with a broadsword, which I think is a lot more fair, but this is what kind of medium mini-boss combat is like in this game. Just gotta look for patterns, dodge appropriately, smash them appropriately. I double rolled there because when those land, it doesn't just land, it does a burst of crystals, and those crystals hurt you. And I am dead. Yeah, we might move on until I get a better weapon, and then come back and visit Mr. Crystal Lizard. Because this club is just, it's It's the worst. It's not actually that terrible, but there are certainly better. Right, let's go collect some stuff. But two-hitting these starter guys is kind of a sign of how awful it is. And a terrible heavy attack where you reel back and jump, but it's got such a huge wind up that it's so dangerous to use. Sorry, that's the forward heavy. If I just do heavy on its own, I do that, which is better, but I'm almost always moving. One heavy attack kills them dead, which is nice to know. Hi, friend. You have invincibility frames while you're doing a backstab like that, which is why Mr. Man with a crossbow couldn't hurt me. It's also useful to know that in case you're in a situation where you need to protect yourself, but a backstab is open. It could be better for you to actually go for the backstab than it is to try and roll away or raise your shield. Or even block with your weapon, which you can if you're using two hands. Titanite shard, used for upgrading your weapons. We'll see how that works when we get there. Hello, sir. Cool. We did that without incident, so I'm going to go ahead and go into here where we see Mr. Nightman in the middle, ominously. And he has a sword through his chest and weird black goo coming out of his back. I mean, that's, you know, that's always nice. So, let's do that. And start wailing on him because he's actually vulnerable. Greedy. That's what happened there. So, this is your first boss, technically, although quite a lot easier than anything else in the game. Something. Come on. Right. That was easy. Sort of. He's an easy fight, but he will give you trouble when you don't know the game. I know I certainly died to him quite a few times. So don't let that be any indication of how good I am at the game. I am not. Also, for killing bosses, that taught us another thing. And I should also go back, because two things were learned here. First of all, when you kill bosses, you get Ember. And Ember is kind of like... if you play Dark Souls 1, it's kind of like Humanity. It doesn't stack like Humanity does. Not that Humanity really stacked past the first anyway. You could collect more. But I get extra health when I'm embered, and I also look like I'm on fire. Second thing we learn is that bosses drop bonfires. So every time you beat a boss, their area will have a bonfire now. And broken straight sword. Awful. We're not even going to look at it. Actually, why not? Why not look at it? A straight sword with a broken blade, a weapon with no exceptional qualities, only a mad hollow would choose to fight with this. Stance. So there's weapon skills in Dark Souls 3. While in stance, use normal attack to break a foe's guard from below, and a strong attack to slash upwards forward lunge. Only neither move will appear very impressive with a broken hilt. Right. Yeah. That's why we're not even gonna bother, because it's like actually the worst. No friend. You can kick to break guard in this game, but it's like forward and R1. And even though I did it 3 times in a row there, it's actually kind of hard to pull off properly. You kind of have to... First of all, you have to stop moving, and then you have to flick forward and R1 at the same time, and as you can see, I failed twice out of 3 then. I wish they would loosen up the timing on that, because otherwise it's so hard to pull off. What you use the kick for is to... characters with shields up. You can use it to break their guard. No, sir. Oh. Excuse me, spear guy. I'm gonna skip past you and hit this man. Yeah, see, I tried to kick him again and I just had no luck. Also, concentrating on kicking makes me not concentrate on everything else that I'm meant to be doing. We have more items to fetch around here. We have this man here, which I've never been able to pull it off, but I would like to. Yes! I just wanted to boot him off the edge, because I can. That is the first time, legitimately, that I've been able to kick him with the right timing. Like I said. See, there we go. Look, 2, 3, there we go. Usually I can't pull it off. Hello, dog. Dogs are easy, but they have a really annoying tendency to go flying backwards when you hit them. And if you didn't kill them the first time, it's actually advantageous to the dog, because you have to then close the gap to kill them. And when they swarm you, which doesn't happen then because there's only one of them, that can be a problem. We still have more to do here. And I think we will probably finish off the early part of Firelink Shrine in this episode. And killing those guys, because if you do not kill those guys and you take the item in this tree over here, they ambush you. But they're dead, so they're not going to. And it's a shield, which we might use once we have a better weapon. And I think there's one more item before we go inside. Around this way. Yep. Homeward Bones. Homeward Bones let you teleport, essentially, to a bonfire you have rested at, or the shrine, and we're just about to go to the shrine. This is Firelink Shrine. It has the thrones of the Lord of Cinder in front of us. Lords of Cinder. And there's actually one sitting right there, if you can see him. So not all the lords have abandoned their thrones. And we have this lady.
Welcome to the bonfire, unkindled one. I am a firekeeper. I tend to the flame, and tend to thee. The lords have left their thrones, and must be delivered to them. To this end I am at thy side. Ashen One, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless souls will become thy strength. I will show thee how. Ashen One, bring me souls plucked from their vessels. Ashen One, to be Ashen.
Right, so basically she's saying,
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames guide.
cool. She's saying that basically, bring me souls and I'll make you more powerful. And to get souls, you need to kill things. And you'll see down in the bottom right corner, I've had that number going up ever since I've killed things. That number is souls that I have collected. And enemies are worth more or less souls depending on how hard they are. So, embed the coiled sword that we pulled out of Mr. Man back there into the ash. And we have created a bonfire. Right, let's talk to more people. Let's talk to the guy in the throne first. Since he is a Lord of Cinder, not absconded.
All that unkindled, and a seeker of lords. I am Ludleth of Corland. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder. If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred course. This sad cadaver, no need to be coy. Have a closer look. Knowest thou of our purpose? 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast-fading flame must be linked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is, I became a Lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a Colossus.
So there you go.
Now, do not be away.
The reason why lords might like to not be in their thrones is because to do so means that they need to sacrifice themselves in order to keep the flame alight. And the flame is in Dark Souls 1 mythology. And it seems like so far this game is in the future after Dark Souls 1, significantly. And in Dark Souls 1, the fire, the first flame, is what brought about the Age of Fire, which is basically a better age than the one that preceded it, which was filled with darkness and dragons. So something horrible happened, and that meant that the first flame needed to be stoked, and some guy called Gwyn sacrificed himself to link the flame, and like this guy said here, it's a reenactment of the linking of the first flame. So apparently they have to sacrifice themselves, the Lords of Cinder have to sacrifice themselves, the current Lords of Cinder have to sacrifice themselves at the end of their lordship in order to keep the flame alight. But these ones have decided not to do that. So the undead have risen to ensure that it happens.
A pleasure to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One. I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont? No?
I find the Shrine Handmaiden one of the least trustworthy characters in the game so far, because she is so she wants souls for something. Yet she's just a humble shrine maiden, right? Why would a humble shrine maiden want souls for anything? Unless they have plans for power? Anywho. We need a better weapon. Which we're not going to get here. Not one that I want anyway. So, we'll continue to use the club. There is the halberd there, but we don't have the stats for it.
Well, I am Andre, as a humble smith, forging weapons.
Sorry.
You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust. A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith, such is my purpose.
Cool. So, first of all, you have Ashen Estus and Normal Estus. Ashen Estus is kind of for spellcasters or people who use sword arts a lot. But our character's not going to be like that, so we're going to go for full Estus. And I don't think we have an Estus shard, no.
Prithee, be careful.
I don't want to see my work squandered, is how he finishes that sentence. And that's not what I wanted to do. Let's use this. Crunch. That's the gift we took at the very beginning. Sovereignless Soul.
Prid them to look.
Let's level up.
Very well. Then take.
And to level up, I'm pretty much going to go with Vigor and Strength. And probably want to invest in Endurance and Vitality at some point. But probably not right now. Probably just more Vigor. Strength over Vigor, actually. Cool. Yes, thank you.
Farewell,
So, as you can
one.
see, we put in... How many was that? 7 stat points. So now we should be level 8. Because we start as level 1. We have this dude up here too.
Ah, another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. And they'd have us seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we're talking true legends, with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots. Don't you think?
So his problem is that he's like me, an unkindled, which an unkindle is the undead which have been risen from their graves in order to fetch the Lords of Cinder. But his problem is like, well, we're just basic warriors and undead. We're not like super godlike creatures like the Lords of Cinder are. How do we even have a chance of getting them back? Why were we raised from our sleep of death to deal with them? Now, getting close to finishing out this episode, but before I do that, I'm going to show you a sneaky little secret. It gives you quite the leg up in the beginning of the game. And I did it first time. You run and jump off that tree and get up here. You're not actually meant to be able to get up on here until you can open that gate. And that gate takes 20,000 souls because you need to buy a key from the Shrine Maiden. But because we got up here early, or at least this bit early, we can't get anywhere else further up onto the roof. We can get some extras pretty early. So first of all,
You, me, pickled pea. Me, bumperum.
sentient crows. Picklepea Pumperum, as people take to calling them, crows who want you to give them Picklepea and Pumperum in exchange for other things. You have to figure out what Pickle Pea and Pumper Rum is. So as you can see, I picked up an Estus Shard and a Covetous Silver Serpent Ring through a illusionary wall up here, and it's all the way up and behind the biggest throne in the room. Holy Knight. Holy King Lothric, last hope of his line. Right, so that ring is pretty important. Fallen foes yield more souls. It's less important later on, but early on it's quite helpful. And we also got an Estus Shard, which lets us go to Andre over here. So we had 3 Estus maximum.
Just
and an
good, wasn't
Estus Shard lets us add another Estus. Reinforced Estus Flask, increasing number of uses. So now we have 4
Pretty,
maximum.
be careful.
Now there's one last thing I'm going to try and do before ending the episode. I may get my ass kicked, but why don't we end on some combat, huh? Need to go up here and leave the shrine. To the right. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to get rid of these guys, because they may get in the way. But you can see up there, there's a man standing at the top of those stairs. He's not a very nice man. Hello, not very nice man. Oh my god, exactly. That's the problem. How I usually deal with that guy this early on is by whacking him off the edge. I'm going to try once more, because that was just a really embarrassing show. Oh, by the way, there's a fog wall here. Fog walls usually mean bosses if you've played previous Souls games, but this is actually just a trick of loading in this game. Firelink Shrine isn't actually part of the rest of the area that I was in, so you have to wait a while until it actually loads the rest of the world, and then the fog disappears. So it doesn't mean there's a boss outside Firelink, it just means it's loading. Oh, come on. You can't lock on to guys that haven't woken up yet. How do you keep hitting that wall? Right. Let's try this guy again then. Hi friend. I did awful last time. I'm gonna try and... Okay, apparently not. Awful show. Once more for the record. Best of 3, and then we'll try again next episode. If there is a next episode. You guys need to tell me what you think of this one first. Let me through. It will eventually. And... go. Good. I don't actually have this installed on an SSD, so that might actually happen faster if I did. Right. Both of those deaths, by the way, were entirely my fault, because I just completely whiffed what I was meant to be doing. I did not read him properly. Oh. See, it goes a lot better when you're actually reading your enemies. Ooh, that was close. Hi, friend. I know you're ready to strike. I can actually get back attacks on this guy, but I'd rather not stay close to him. Oh, that was... No. Okay, see? You make a mistake and you just die. So, yeah. Tell me, would you like me to try again? If so, I'll make another episode. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Remember, if you did like this, let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment, etc., etc., and I'll think about doing this as a series. Bye-bye.